Hello, this video is focusing on Welmar upright pianos and some small upright pianos that we have in stock. First of all, focusing on Welmar, this is the top range Welmar piano, 120 centimeters high. It also has the prop stick open at the top, as you can see. That gives more volume if you want it. But I want you to think about this piano if you're thinking of a 120 centimeters high piano like a Yamaha U1 or a 48122, because the tone is quite superb. Let's listen to the treble here. It's very mellow, and the touch, I can assure you, is as good as any upright. Let's listen to the tenor, and a very rich bass too. This is a Yamaha U1, similar age. The Welmar was 1985. It's a slightly older piano. That's a good quality Yamaha U1. Back to the Welmar. We're fortunate to have another 120 Welmar in stock as well. And let's listen to the tone of this. This is 1975, 10 years older. And it's a very similar tone, but it's been slightly more used. If we look at the hammers on the 1985 one, there's hardly any indentation in them at all. If you look at the 3 string marks here, there's hardly showing, so I can't see this perhaps very well on the video. And here's the 1975 one, and the indentations are more clearly seen here, and as we a bit more hammers hitting the string, not quite such a clear sound. The action is also slightly lighter because it's been played more. Now we can of course reface these hammers so that less hammer basically hits the string and is slightly more pointed, and that will bring back a lot of the tone. In fact, there's hardly any hammer used really, so that would be easy to do. But refacing, as we mentioned on other videos, needs to be done extremely carefully so that when you finish the job, the hammer hits all 3 strings at exactly the same time. So it's quite a long job to reface. We currently have 2 other Welmar uprights in stock. This one is 110 centimeters high, and you'll notice the tone isn't so rich because it's a smaller piano. It's still a very beautiful sounding piano and has a good bass too for the height of the piano. And this is the shortest Welmar that I think they do. This is 104 centimeters high. Again, not quite so rich again, but they're such well-made pianos. Welmar had a relationship with Blutner pianos. They imported them and seem to have learnt a lot from them, and certainly, in my mind, Welmar and Knight, as we'll look at in a minute, are the 2 best English small pianos. Now, this is the Knight upright piano, K10, the most common of them, and same height as the Welmar next to it, so about 110 centimeters high. And they're usually a bit brighter sounding. The brightness can be to do with the hammers as well, so changing the hammers or rather refacing the hammers can brighten the tone, but this is a wonderful piano. By the way, you might have noticed these Cat's clips that we supply. This is basically book holders. We can put traditional book holders on the piano as well. This Welmar has had traditional book holders added, which are very useful if you have thick books particularly. This is another Knight upright piano we have in stock. It's not the same design quite as the other. This is a younger Knight. This is 1986, and I'll show you what I mean by not the same design. This Knight is like any other upright piano, has this break point here, treble break with a metal bar going down on the frame. And so you get a slight variety of tone, though Knights know how to minimise that. There is a variety, difference between there and there. This Welmar is the same. We've got a break point here, this metal bar, and so the break in the treble section. We'll look at the other Knight in a minute. And that's pretty well disguised. You can't hear much difference in tone between that side and that side. See, on the Knight we did earlier, you can hear a difference. Now, of course, we can disguise that by toning the hammer a bit, and that's what we tend to do. But the K10 we looked at earlier, it doesn't have any break at all. There's no metal bar going down there, so you get a continuous tone right the way through. In fact, that one does need voicing a bit, but the tone is more even throughout the treble area. That's an excellent design. This Knight had a Celeste on it. I've just taken that off so you can see more clearly the continuous bridge at that point. And you can see that there's continuous pressure bar here, continuous bridge, yes, along here. And you can see there's no metal strut. We'll look at the other Knight again. So there's the later Knight. And you see there's a metal strut going there and a break here in the bridge. So you've got a space here where the bar goes down. So does that make a huge difference? Well, it just shows that Knight's really been trying very, very hard to produce the best upright piano they can. So back to the Knight with a continuous bridge again. I think it's the only make I've come across that has a continuous bridge, and is an excellent design really. It shows you how fastidious Knight were to try and make the best piano that they can. And in fact, they were in Steinway Hall alongside Steinway's small uprights, as I've mentioned in other videos. Generally speaking, the ones we found in the UK we haven't really liked, whereas Steinway obviously thought the same and decided to have Knight pianos in their showrooms alongside Steinway's. I didn't notice behind me we have another Welmar, so that's 5 in stock. That's unusual, we've got so many. A lot of these pianos we rent out for students and those who are temporarily in Oxford, and get them back in again, so we're constantly going in and out, and of course they do wear during that time. Again, you can see the amount of wear on the hammers. This one is like the taller Welmar that we showed earlier. We can reface again. It'll make the piano less mellow. But generally speaking, clients like the tone. I like the tone of them when they're slightly mellowed by slightly indented hammers. Though it's a personal preference really. So if you do come or if you want to buy a piano without seeing, then you can let us know whether you like a mellow sound or a bright sound, and we can obviously work on the hammers accordingly. Now, other small pianos we have in stock, this is a Kemble Compact, and it is the smallest, it's the best very small piano that we like doing this very, very much. It's one of the very best small pianos. 85 keys instead of 88 keys, so it goes up to top A, but that doesn't worry musicians. You can practice and take exams on 88, 85 key pianos, no problem. But they're superbly constructed, these very small Kembles, so we really like to do them. And in terms of length, this one's 130 centimeters long, so if you have a small gap, then that's a 7-octave piano and will still fit in. Now, if you've got a very small gap, this is a 6-octave piano. Kemble again, really good makers of small pianos, Kemble are. Really recommend them. They went around the world. They're one of the world's best small piano makers. And for the size of the piano, it has a very rich tone indeed. It was made during the 70s and 80s. We also have a couple of Zender pianos. These the quality of Zenders varies a lot. You have to be very, very careful. Sidney Zender I met while he was still making pianos, and he said that he made about 70,000 pianos, and always asked the factories he got them to make for him. So he wasn't a piano maker, but he got them made, commissioned them to be made in different factories. Bowden Robertson was one factory that they were made in. May have been made in Kemble factory as well, but so they vary a lot according to which factory they're made in. And this one is particularly good though. You'll pay less money for a Zender generally. And here's another Zender. This is a brighter colour piano. I think this one might be slightly, no, this is 1972. So all these pianos tend to fall into 70s and 80s, I think, including the Yamahas too that we have in stock. And as dealers will tell you, and piano players, teachers, those are some of the best Yamahas too. And last of all, amongst our small pianos, this Chapel upright piano, and we occasionally come across an older piano. This is actually 1957, but it was so well made, but it was in very bad condition. We had to fully restore the piano. I have got another video of this which you can find. I'll try and put a link to it. But it has such a beautiful tone here, and I think the most beautiful tone of all of them really. Chapel's such a good piano maker, and when they make a very good piano, not quite so good perhaps in the tenor here. I would say probably I'd rate the Welmar slightly higher than this, but it has a very special tone, and this has ivory keys too. so it's a good choice. The casework hasn't been refinished, but we've tidied the casework up, and it's a beautiful piano. It's 133 centimetres long, so just slightly longer than the Kemble. Again, it's got 85 keys, so apart from those two, all the ones I've shown you have had, and the 6-octave one, have had 88 keys. I nearly forgot this Fatsa piano that we have in stock. It's in a different room, and Fatsa's a make that we try to get hold of. Again, it's not going to be quite as expensive as a Welmar, but they're wonderful pianos, very well made in Finland, and particularly noted for their very rich bass. They have something I think they call a floating soundboard. If you're in the trade and know more about that, please let me know, because I'm not quite sure about that. But this one's a mellow sounding one. They can be brighter sounding as well. These hammers aren't particularly warm. I think they're just naturally mellow. And if they were refaced again, we would make a brighter sound. I particularly feature that on this video because I think it's important for you to think about what kind of tone you like. If you want a brighter tone, then usually a piano like this can be made brighter. So that's a quick look at the small pianos we have in stock, and featuring Welmar particularly. And this Welmar is not a small piano, this is their top range one. And really, I want to encourage you that this piano, I think piano tuners would agree with me, this is one of the best made pianos ever made, 120 centimetres. I should have contrasted it with German ones, I forgot to do that, but I can assure you it's as good as. It certainly gives me a lot of pleasure. I've been playing on this one as I've been thinking about this video. I couldn't get off this piano. It's just very mellow sounding, and that's the way it was when it was made. It's not had a huge amount of use. 1985. And such a wonderful instrument. If you listen to the richness of tone there, and mellowness of tone, and the feel of it, obviously you can't see the feel of the piano, but I can assure you this feels as good as, if not better than, any other piano of the same height. The bass is as good a bass on it as you get on any upright piano. Very responsive and very easy to play, and if you try and play quietly, it'll respond for you as well. To control an upright piano, to get really soft playing, is not always easy to do, but the Welmar gives you great control. I should have contrasted it also with a new Foric, which we do. They're all very good pianos really. We've thought about the best pianos we can possibly find, but this is responding perfectly to me. So I can really recommend it. Thank you very much for listening.